I know about climate change and the effects that we are currently facing, but sometimes it's very good to face the facts in a different way. And with this simulation, I think it's a very creative way to be aware of the current situation, and also a baseline where we can take further steps to come and work on solutions for that.
I hope that we can collaborate and learn things about both each other, the climate, and policy making at large.
The Climate Fresk is a super opportunity for many people to just know more about the topic of climate change. Since we haven't had that in school, it's perfect to get an awareness, a sensitivity to that topic, and that we are able to discuss about it and hopefully later take better actions. My role as a facilitator is quite simple because I'm actually stepping out of the game. So the participants do the job and I just stay with them to just clarify if there's something wrong, or let's say everybody knows a little bit about it, about the topic of climate change. But then when it comes really to the topic, then some things got wrong and therefore I am there.
I feel like it's a very interesting opportunity that we have to learn more about the scientific aspect of climate change, which also helps us to understand more how the events are linked, because we see a lot in the news of the ice caps are melting and other news like this, but we don't really have the scientific or real knowledge of what is happening.
The students engage in the Climate Fresk to be able to become good advocates for decision making. It's such a contemporary topic, and I think that's something that's asked in all private and public institutions and businesses nowadays. And we want to make sure they have that knowledge. It really provides them with the sort of key facts behind the IPCC report and the scientific consensus. And I think that's crucial. Personally, I just like to speak a lot about the scientific consensus, to be able to give room for the discussion around the implications with a broad range of people, and you don't end up in these same kind of nitty-gritty discussions because you will have dedicated time to it together.
There are different types of profiles in the group, so some are more advanced in the knowledge about climate change, some are less, so I think it's very interesting to have this mix of people and interacting together. I think it really illustrates the collective intelligence goal of the workshop, to put people together, that they discuss and they learn from each other. This is also emotionally it can be hard also to access to all of this global picture about climate. I think this is always very interesting to see how everybody reacts differently, because they have all their different stories and baggage. And this is also a part that I really, really like about this workshop, is to connect to our own emotions. And this is what made me act more about this topic, and I think this is one strength of this workshop, to act on emotions of people.
With this workshop, we become aware how the situation is in danger nowadays, but also what impressed me was how the emotional part play a big role in climate change issues. So why I say this? Because thanks to my team, we understood that we can find solution not with just the rational part, but also with the irrational part.
Wow. This was definitely not the experience that I think any of us expected it to be.
And I mean that in the best way possible. It was a fun, interactive, collaborative experience that brought us all together. We had laughs, we had fun. I think we all learned some new vocabulary words, or even just the way that the world interacts with itself. It was incredibly interesting. And I think that everybody learned something.
It has been 3.5 hours, which were quite intense and confronting, I would say, because I had a general idea of the situation, but when you are really going into detail with all the different steps, one leading to another, well, it's kind of, I don't have a positive feeling. And it's actually a little bit depressing, because you see that the world is now at such a moment where we really need action. And the last part was coming up with solutions, and that made me a little bit more positive, because you see the changes that are happening, but I think much more change is needed.
Climate change is a global issue, and as a member of the Global South, coming from sub-Saharan Africa, one of the areas most affected by climate change, it was phenomenal to have a dive in deep into all the human causes of climate change and how they impact the world and the world we live in. The most important thing, I think, moment that came out of or revelation I can say, is that climate change was caused by humans, and as such humans can correct it. So I think that we still have a lot of power and agency to come together as a united world and save it as global citizens.